human ships entered the Dominion, and weren't the least bit afraid. The Krell flagship went dark in a single heartbeat. 1 second the Grand Parade Array was a blinding tapestry of violet light. The next, it was a tomb. Every engine died. Every shield collapsed. In the sudden, suffocating silence of the void, Admiral Elena Vance's face appeared on every bridge screen in the sector. She sat in a standard command chair, a steaming cup of tea at her elbow, looking exactly as calm as she had for the last decade. "High Provost Vane," Vance said, her voice cutting through the panic on the Krell flagship like a blade. "You sent us garbage to mock our progress. We've spent that time learning how to turn your own fleet into a museum exhibit. You'll want to hear how this ends, trust me on that." High Provost Vane had watched the monitors as his cruisers pulverized the human colony on Ophiuchus Prime. It was barely a challenge. Once the fire stopped, he ordered a single supply freighter to drop a crate of obsolete sparking circuit boards onto the planet's surface. "Send them this," Vane remarked with a thin, amused smile. "It matches their current technological maturity. Let them understand that they are beneath our notice, let alone our enmity." The galaxy knew the Krell Dominion as the ancient, rigid masters of the quadrant. They operated on the assumption that if a species could not master Krell-grade grav drives, they were simply irrelevant. Vane was a creature of metrics. He believed that security was a matter of raw, overwhelming complexity. For 15 years, Admiral Elena Vance had overseen Project Echo. It was a dull, grueling effort. While the Krell expanded, human signal analysts had been piggybacking on the Dominion's own subspace arrays, embedding small, dormant kernels of code into every routine update the Krell pushed. Humanity didn't build a fleet to challenge the Dominion. They built a parasite to consume it from within. Vane's arrogance was absolute. He didn't bother to scan for cyber threats because, in his worldview, primitive species lacked the mental capacity to comprehend the complexity of the Krell grid. He saw the crate of broken circuit boards as the perfect, dismissive punctuation mark on a conquered people. Vance watched Vane on her monitor. She took a sip of her tea. Her uniform collar was crisp, the silver threading catching the dim light of her secret moon base. She didn't look like a conqueror. She looked like a technician checking a load-bearing wall. "The update patch is live, High Provost," she murmured to the empty room. "All ships are running the latest firmware." The Grand Parade of the Dominion began on schedule. Thousands of Krell ships hung in formation, a testament to their dominance. The sensor arrays swept the sector, finding nothing but the vast, empty cold. Vane stood on his bridge, his violet bioluminescence pulsing with pride as he watched the parade. Vance pushed a single key. Across the fleet, the colonels woke up. They didn't strike like a hammer, they breathed like a lung. Vance inserted a kernel and the Dominion's internal network lagged. She spiked the power draw and the Krell shields flickered orange. She locked the comm channels and Vane's orders vanished into the ether. Every Krell drive hit zero output simultaneously. The entire fleet went cold. Vane smashed his console. His sensor stalks twitched in terror. He tried to override the commands, but his console only echoed a single line of text: Access DNIED, humanity. "You have two options," Vance continued, her voice level, devoid of malice. "You can keep trying to force the system, in which case your life support will stay locked until it depletes. Or you can transmit the surrender code I've just uploaded to your nav computer. We don't want your people, Vane. We just want you to stop acting as if you own the stars." Vane looked at the screen, his certainty pulverized. He saw not a primitive foe, but a patient, calculating predator. He saw the copper-green scrap of hardware he had mocked, now rendered as the symbol of his own irrelevance. With a shaking hand, he initiated the surrender. He stared at his own hands. They felt useless. The ship, once his throne, was now a tomb of dead metal. He looked at the screen again, at the woman who had spent 15 years living in the rafters of his empire, waiting for the one moment he was distracted. "We didn't win because we were stronger," Vance said, and for the first time there was a hint of steel in her tone. "We won because we were patient." The Krell fleet drifted in total, silent humiliation. Vance tapped the circuit board mounted on her wall. "You made this," she whispered to the empty room, "and now it decides if you survive." The galaxy changed that day. Humanity was no longer a developing species. They were the ones who held the off switch. The silence stretched on, a vast, heavy blanket over the sector. No engines fired. No lights pulsed. The Dominion fleet was reduced to silent, drifting metal. Vance sat back, watching the data streams finally settle. The mission was done. The report wouldn't be sent. It didn't need to be. The result was visible to every sensor in the sector. She picked up her tea. It was cold. She set the cup aside and looked at the wall. The circuit board caught the light, a jagged piece of copper and green. The stars didn't get brighter. The Dominion simply went dark.